All right, ladies and gentlemen, now time for the next session for the day, and that will be on the topic transaction monitoring and related challenges. And this will be presented by Mr. Mohamed Ragaei Abdel Fattah Abdel Wahid, who is the UAE country head of compliance for Banque Misr. Sorry. To quickly introduce Mr. Mohammed, he has 28 years of banking experience in six multinational and large local banks. 14 out of them was covering a varied range of banking departments, which is compliance and corporate governance, corporate trade finance, operation, and foreign transactions. His professional and personal extraordinary inspiring skills, along with a very interesting ideology that gained him out of his outstanding professional thoughts, qualifications, and accomplishments, gave him the ability to pinpoint and solve both customers and business dilemmas, as well as making sure of abiding with international standards and local regulations. Such great business successful ventures all around the industry that have been created filled with his passion, rigor, thoughts, and most importantly, his endeavor made it very motivational and inspirational to present essential keys in investing, new methods of educating the bank staff on compliance with the regulators' requirements in order to be qualified to be efficiently deliver an exceptional banking service, while at the same time having the confidence to embrace creativity and ability to live deliberately and make a difference in his career. A very good morning, Mr. Mohammed. We're glad to be having you on board. I leave the stage for you, Mr. Mohammed. Have a wonderful day, presentation.
Good morning, Anil, and thank you for the presentation. And welcome for all who joining us today. Uh, Hopefully, presentation of today to cover all your expectation. Today we will gonna to talk about transaction monitoring optimization and challenges and benefits of using the automation of transaction monitoring.
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Mohammed. I think it would be better if you could kindly go on the presentation mode so that the contents of the slides would be visible for the attendees.
Is it clear now? You mean?
Kindly go into the presentation mode.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Is it worked better now, Anil?
It still is the same, Mr. Mohammed. I mean, it is definitely visible, but just to make sure it's, I mean, the complete, if it's filling the screen, it would be more visible for that. That's all. You can definitely continue with this.
Okay. Now, same as well, or the.
Or you can just hold Alt F5.
F5, okay.
Yes. And anyways, you can continue with the presentation, Mr. Oh, all right. Looks like there's some issue with. Okay. Anyways, he has rejoined. Yes, he has rejoined. Okay,
I'm
kindly
sorry.
reshare the. If you could kindly reshare the presentation, we can go forward with that, Mr.
Is it worked now or still not?
Yes, you can go ahead with this.
Sure. Shall I start or?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. Sorry for this distance. Let's start with our agenda for today, transaction monitoring optimization presentation. Um, as you know, transaction monitoring is it is the process of monitoring transaction after the execution in order to identify individual unusual transaction, suspicious transaction, unusual behavior, including monitoring single transaction as well as the transaction flow. Transaction monitoring is the key control used by financial institutions, banks, all financial institutions to identify the unusual pattern, the unusual transaction, the suspicious transactions that might be taken or might be processed from any of our customers. And this way of monitoring is to mitigate the risk of financial crime. In the last couple of years, the option of detecting the illicit financial activity using manual process instead of automated solution. This could have been seen as a cost beneficial or feasible approach to comply with the anti-money laundering and requirements. However, with the changes of anti-money laundering laws and increased regulatory requirement across most of countries, the use of manual process in anti-money laundering is now expecting rather than the norm. An important aspect to provide a ML specific solution is the level of automation that can now be achieved. However, before we drill down to how the automation of transaction monitoring works, is important to first cover some common functionalities that are kind of standard across most of transaction monitoring solution. Let's first to know what is the as I tried now, what is the transaction monitoring solution? As you are aware, transaction monitoring solution help financial institution where to detect first the behavior, then after detection we start for investigation, and then we when we believe that this in detection and after finalizing all our investigation and make sure that this unusual transaction becomes a suspicious behavior. So in this case, we go for reporting to FIU. For report, the unusual activity of the customer are generally through processing management system as well as using algorithm and models to spot those unusual customer activity. And those solutions are able to check all sorts of activity, including, for example, cash deposit, withdrawals, and bank transfer. At the back stage of those monitoring activity, anti-money laundering transaction monitoring solutions are able to generate reports and alert for compliance team who are managing and detecting the unusual transaction in order to start the investigation and to catch the suspicious one across the all alerts that have been generated from the transaction monitoring solution. We have a lot of softwares or application which efficiently track bank customer transaction usually on daily basis and use customer history and
Sorry to
account.
interrupt. Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Mohammed. I think the slide. Okay, now the slides are ideal because it was
Okay,
stuck in the first slide. Thank you.
okay, okay. These software or application efficiently track bank customer transaction usually on a daily basis and use customer history and accounts information to provide the big picture for the bank management, for the staff who are managing and investigating in the transaction. And recently, ML transaction monitoring software allow regulated firms to also monitor customer activity in real time. These new functionals are now making a difference between anti-money laundering anti-money laundering transaction monitoring and the fraud prevention less evidence, and therefore regulated firms can benefit from a wider and more comprehensive view of the financial crime risks that are presented to their compliance investigator. The first type, there are many different type of automated transaction monitoring solution, and how the automation of the transaction monitoring works can change significantly based on the solution to design, based on the solution is designed to do. However, at the high level, there are two very common type of models that have been developed by data engineers. And here we can show that these are the two types, or the common or the most type of applications or technologies to detect the unusual transaction. First type is called rule-based system, which are programming with a certain rules that identify suspicious activity based on a given criteria. Yeah, and I believe all of us are using more, yani most of us are using this type, where we have a list of scenario. Each scenario have a threshold, large cash deposits exceeding a number of amount, incoming transfer from high risk country. This is the example for this type, which is called the rule based system. These programs used predetermined rules to define the unusual transaction and then flag them to review to a compliance analyst. While the second and the most advanced model or type for transaction monitoring application is based on use of predictive model. Predictive models are designed to make a prediction about the future behavior based on what happened in the past. And this type of model uses machine learning, allowing advanced algorithms to watch the behavior of our customer and create red flags for compliance team when there is the discrepancies between the forecasting for the transaction monitoring and the actual events. Actually, and most of us, I believe, you are facing a lot of challenges during our implementation of new technologies. Yes, true. Transaction monitoring relying on whether the type 1 or type 2 is helping compliance function across the financial institution to do the job. But at the same time, we believe that a lot of challenges for implementation of the new technologies for anti-money laundering are facing compliance officers. I believe false positive rates is still the significant challenges faced by the entire industry, including the anti-money laundering sector. Although automated ML, as I mentioned, system can improve the detection of risk and be more structured, but false positive alerts can still generate resources and operational issues for compliance teams. That's why we have to know what is the real challenge that we are facing. In 2021, a group of experts from Fattah delegation, 15 countries, including Egypt, were involved in this study and this analysis. And mainly, as you can see on the graph from the below, the main challenge is that most of countries, these 15 countries, according to the result of analysis, there are regulatory challenges. This is the highest challenge that we are facing: data privacy and protection requirements, data quality, and technology. And let's go for example for the highest challenges. For the regulatory obstacles, regulators need to develop expertise and resources to properly understand and supervise new technologies. The second, need to adjust to some regulatory practices. Also need to suitable data for integration into the tools easily understood, explained, and communicated. And this is actually one of the things that we always facing our regulatory obstacles that we are doing. But from my point of view, the most and common challenge that most of us are facing is the data quality. Although a lot of efforts have been done from most of financial institutions, but still data quality is the main challenges for most of us. Applying new technologies or even AI or artificial intelligence or the robotics, it should rely on accurate data. It should rely on a high quality of data. But unfortunately, most of financial institution does not have such high quality of data. That's why the data quality is one of the most and important challenges for us in order to cleansing our data before or prior applying or thinking to apply any AI technology to detect the unusual behavior. Also, cost of investing in the new technologies and expertise increase exponentially if these systems require fine-tuning and adjusting to different country or requirement and format. According to the assessment, 45% believe that data quality is an obstacle to adaptation of ML. And this is actually my point of view as well, because I worked for 7 financial institution in my back to say during my experience for the 30 years. I worked for 7 or 8 financial institutions, and most of them have the same challenge, which is the data quality and data cleansing for our customer. Also, the operational challenges are here. Developing and implementing new technologies require a significant investment. It's often mean replacing legacy system with the new one, a new tool, and investing and developing necessary skills to understand the new technology and to train additional staff. Replacing or updating legacy system can be complex and expensive. This makes challenges for both industry and government to exploit the potential of innovative approach for ML and financing terrorism. Now let's go for the benefit. Whether yes, we are challenging, and a lot of challenges we are facing, but also we have to think about the benefits from the machine learning and automating the and optimizing the transaction monitoring. A lot of benefits coming from transaction monitoring and automation of transaction monitoring, such as ability of the bank to reduce the risk of financial crime by automating their ML transaction monitoring process. Financial institutions are able to gain more time to their compliance operation as a result of automation the ML. Regulators are able to have a higher degree of confidence in data that they are received from the bank and financial institution, because automation of automated solution always is better than the manual intervention or manual reporting. Adapting of risk-based approach by monitoring transaction ongoing basis, financial institution can better understanding their common risk profile and pattern of activity, allowing them to direct their efforts and monitoring resources more efficiently for the highest risk. Also, updating and spreading new pattern used by money laundering through the related ML tool, expanding the use of AI. Last but not the least, alert scoring and prioritizing by assigning risk-weighted scores to prioritize the high-risk alert for an expedite review, because I believe also some of our challenges that we are facing, the delay of handling of the daily alert due to the huge number of generated alerts that are on a daily basis coming from the system. Therefore, I believe by automating the transaction monitoring, this will help a lot for prioritizing the unusual transactions and the detection. This is actually the presentation for today, and if you have any question, I'm ready to reply.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mohammed, for the insights shared, considering the expertise that you have about close to 30 years. Thank you for sharing that with our attending delegates. I'm sure they would have some of the takeaways and which can be implemented in their line of work. Right.
Thank
So
you.
regarding the questions, we haven't received any as of now. I'll definitely connect with you in case we receive any for your presentation. Right.
Sure. Yes.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Mohammed. It was great to be having you here, and we will definitely
It's my
connect for our
pleasure.
future initiatives. Have a
Thank you
nice
so
day.
much. Thank you. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
day.